Hey, welcome to this episode, which is a compilation of highlights and best moments and key takeaways from 4 episodes that we've recorded here previously. We want to give you a taste test and a sample. So enjoy these recaps and check out the full episodes. Give us, yeah, good. I need to do my real estate one. All right. This time we have my friend and client, Michelle Crumback, with Michelle Crumback Jewelry. She shares her story of being homeless at a point, how she got into the jewelry industry, and really some special stories about how she works. She's well loved, and actually, this is our second most watched episode on YouTube. So enjoy these highlights and go take a look at the full episode.
They walk in as a client and they leave as a friend, and that's the most important part about business for me.
Sure. I
Yeah.
think that's super valuable. It's kind of how I've looked at my business the same. It's like, I don't know, you want to do business with people that are friends and they're
Yes,
friendly. And I think it just creates a deeper connection.
for sure. He was a farmer, and when he walked into the store, it wasn't my turn to help him, but all of the other salespeople scattered because they didn't want to help him. And I just walked up there as bubbly as can be and was just happy to meet him, get to know him. And he pulled $6,000 cash out of his boot and paid for a piece of jewelry that took him 3 minutes to decide that he wanted to buy it. But he said he went to 3 other stores in Grand Rapids and no one would pay attention to him. They treated him horribly. So that was a lesson early in my career
Yeah.
that, how important it is to treat everybody equally, regardless of how much money you think they have or where they've been, or, you need to know your strengths and weaknesses for all things at a young age in business, in relationships. So I self-diagnosed and asked people that knew me what my strengths and weaknesses were. And then I went from there. So I knew where my weaknesses were. So I would spend time with people that were stronger in those areas.
Hmm.
And then I spent time with people that were strong encouragers. So if they could see the strength in you, they would water it, you know, and that served me well. And I think that's the same principle today. And I think it will always be that way. So, but you can't be afraid to admit that where your weaknesses are as well.
Welcome to this clip with Bob Hein at Mercantile Bank. Bob has navigated 25 plus years in the mortgage industry. And for anybody to do that in any industry, they've had some great knowledge, tips, tricks, and experience. And so Bob shares some of this insight. So whether you're just getting started in a career, transitioning careers, or a long-term veteran, there's plenty to learn here with Bob. Thank you. So refrigerator magazine. What are some of the other things you've done over the years
I
for marketing?
yeah, very consistently I've done mailings and refrigerator magnets.
I can testify to the mailings.
I do,
I've
yeah,
seen a lot of your mailings over the
yeah,
years.
which I've
Great.
discontinued, but I'm going to start up. I've got one ready to go out pretty soon. But yeah, I mean, it's just keeping your name and your
Mhm.
face in front of people. And I was talking to a very successful realtor many years ago about mailings, and he said he did them. And okay, well, what do you do? Do you send like an info letter, like a quarterly info letter, or
Mhm.
And he said you do a postcard. You do a postcard. You know, 9 times out of 10, it's just going to end up in the trash.
Yeah.
Right? But at least a postcard, they're looking at your face all the way to the trash, right?
That's true. Yeah.
So yeah, so I do postcards, and there's a lot of email campaigns that people do. I think you start doing those too often, then you just end up in spam.
Right.
So um, yeah, but anything, whatever you're going to do, I think you got to do consistently, right? So
Hmm.
if you're going to do mailers, you need to do them at least a couple of times a year. You can't do like one and then another one 2.5 years later. It's
Right.
not going to.
And the goal is just to keep your name and face in front of people.
Stay
Really.
consistent. Yeah. Well, it does when you don't have to sell yourself constantly with
Right.
new marketing and paying for
Yes.
marketing, and your customers sell you for yourself.
Hmm.
Um, you take a lot of pride in that. You get a lot of satisfaction out of it, but it's also, um, it's very economical way to market yourself. Just do a
Yeah.
good job. Do a good job, period, right?
Yes. And remind people. And one thing I've noticed is you sometimes have to tell people or remind them or show your work. Like that's something I hated to do in math class,
Yeah.
but I learned early in sales. It's really just part of the communication process is showing your work. Look, you solved the problem for the client. You got to let them know.
Sometimes you do
what you
got to
did.
toot your own horn. Sometimes you do just a little bit.
Welcome to a clip or two from Rap Battles in Real Estate with Scott Kellogg, the broker owner of 616 Realty, where he talks about how he got into the real estate business, how he managed a small rap business, I guess, in Chicago area, and really a lot of fun here. So enjoy these clips with Scott Kellogg.
Well, I did learn bringing people in, asking for help, asking questions, finding mentors. You know, there was a whole lot of business lessons in there that I didn't realize at the time I was learning, but I learned a ton of those things, you know, of the importance of other people.
Yeah, I mean, knowing what I know now, like seeing some of that, like you do a great job with hiring people and staff, surrounding yourself with people that can kind of take care of some of that stuff. So, can clearly see you've learned that.
That really always stuck to me is where do you want to be? What's your bigger picture? And I didn't have it at that point in my life. So at that point, my dad offered me a job. He was a home builder, built and sold his own houses. And so I thought he offered me a job, and I thought, why not? I don't have anything else going on. But I really didn't like it. I'm not a home builder, but I half-heartedly put some time in there. But it got me thinking real estate at that point. I thought, boy, I'd really like to sell the houses. And so that nudged me along into getting licensed as a realtor.
Welcome to this clip with Santiago Estrada, who tells his story of growing up in Saginaw, surviving gangs, guns, violence, and eventually escaping essentially via the military. He's got a wonderful story to tell, and enjoy some of these clips.
I didn't fit in. I wasn't into sports, and I was never taught how to meet people or how to have friends or be friends. So I got beat up a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I got beat up a lot. And well, what I say is beat up, even if it's like pushed down. I remember one time as in like the fourth grade, and some kids unzipped my backpack and took all my books and threw them up in the air into the wind, and all my papers and everything.
Oh, man.
And then they pushed me down and kicked me a couple of times and laughed and took off. So it was.
This is at private school? Or
This was at private
Yeah.
school. Yeah, this was at Catholic school. But it was things like that happened probably, I don't know, like 9 or 10 times. And to make matters worse, like sometimes I'd have to walk home from the Catholic school home, and I had to wear the uniform of blue pants, white shirt, black shoes. And so when I walked by the public schools, I was a target, and kids in my neighborhood looked at me like I was weird, and I got bullied a lot in my neighborhood for my uniform, pushed down, just, you know.
Kids can be cruel.
Kids can be cruel. Yeah. It was one day a neighbor taught me to box. I seen a neighbor boxing in his garage.
That was the thing back then too. It was
Yeah.
like, hey, learning to box. I mean, Rocky was kind of coming out.
Yes.
And so that was like people taught you Karate Kid, maybe. I don't know, that was just sort of a thing.
Yep. And so Richard taught me how to hit the bag, work out, and take a hit. And that was probably the best gift he had ever given me. Was punching me, because it started to take the scare away. It started to, okay, I don't have to be scared in this moment. So for better or worse, my dad said no to helping me defend myself.
Yeah.
And Richard said he would if my dad said yes. I said my dad said yes, and he said he gave me a few lessons. Which didn't really help. They helped me enough to lose the fear. But there was several times that I still got into confrontations. I was like, oh, but it didn't go as good as it should have.
Yeah, well, I don't think they ever really do,
Yeah.
really for either party.
Right.
I mean, I was in a
it's
couple fights as a
not-
kid. It's just
oh,
there's no winners.
exactly. There's no winners.